Check, check. Okay, there we go. We got it. Thanks, Jen. Okay, and we're recording. So we'll do some freestyle trading here, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Maven. Wow. My top student in 8 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Maven. Long time. Well, now I'm nervous. So let's see if we can find some intraday stuff here. So SOL, Solana came alive in order flow with pretty much everything else. Then the bulls died. Wow, they just went limp. And now order flow is really thin. Now I'm in a challenge, and I'm challenged, all right. I'll show you why real quick, off topic. These are daily candles in SOL, Solana. So here's historically what it looks like, and here's what I've had to deal with in the challenge. And for my style, it's not good because I deal with outside edges intraday. But anyway, so we had some life. We thought the software was going to start firing again last night. It's been quiet. And it didn't. It was like 92% to fire, something like that. It was close. And then today we got some order flow. Then it fell apart on the bulls. I mean, they're up on the day, but not like they could. Well, anyway. And now order flow is really thin. And they did have an opportunity here to get going because the leader of the pack in crypto, algorithmically, and order flow, well, we knew the order flow. Oh, here they come. The order flow of TAO. We knew this about 11 months ago. This is one of the ones we're coding right now. Well, we're going to start testing tonight. After this time is out, actually. I think that time is out at 8 o'clock tonight. 4 o'clock this afternoon is the candle. I don't know if that's the end of the candle or beginning of the candle, but anyway. It's go time after that. So the last phase of the coding is that I trade it, and then the developers check their work. But anyway, they knew algorithmically. Internally, our team has known for about 11 months about this. So we've done really well with it, extremely well. Actually, I think it's our best trading instrument of all. But anyway, it is thin, so you have to be careful. So this is 4 hour. So we don't trade it on the 15 seconds. So it'll be different than our other. So if you're wondering about, how do I say this properly? So we have 27 instruments that we actively trade in the markets with machine learning, many more, but 27 active. So 27 isolated servers at their head office in Santo Domingo. And this is the best of the bunch, but you can't trade it on a 15 second. So it's different than trading on a 15 second. We trade on 15 second, everything else. Anyway, so SOL is thin. So I'm just going to go back here and I'll show you real quick how I did this, like fast. In the bootcamp, there's a 2-day bootcamp coming up for crypto traders in a couple of weeks. And if you're not familiar, go to epiccryptoapes.com and you'll see the bootcamp. But anyway, and I can't show you in great detail, but I'll show you how I did this. So right here, where price crossed up over the 200. So you got your VWAP, that's orange. 200 is pink. And you see that green and that green? So these are your VWAP outside bands on the 15 second. So all you do is where price crossed over, you draw your fib. So from that band to that band, see that band there? So here's a VWAP, upside, downside band. You just draw your fib and your fib. And now this is out of place now because I've been walking around. But that's how I knew the structure. And that's how we did what we did today and how I knew this was the target at, you know, when price was way back here. And sure enough, it hits. I drew it a little bit off because I did it by hand. I didn't measure it out. But anyway, it hit accordingly. But anyway, that's how you do an intraday structure. You use your VWAP bands, you run your fibs both ways, and voila, now you have your structure. And that's how I knew blue was resistance, red was resistance, blue, purple. In this case, it wasn't blue there, but anyway, and fuchsia. And I won't get into the details, but that's the Reader's Digest version of the structure. And so now we're over here, and they had an opportunity because the leader of the pack is finishing its time cycle here, right? I've been posting this on Twitter. So anybody that, how do I say it? So the blue is resistance and that's support, right? So pretty obvious where this should go. I mean, it's either going there or there, the blues, right? It reminds me of the song Screaming Cheetah Wheelies, shaking the blues away. But anyway, so once that's done, then it's go time. So how do I find an intraday opportunity? So what I do is I go to and that's how I drew this out today, much earlier. So there's my 5, what do the technicians call it? Impulse waves. So I had isolated the fact that there was 5 impulse wave happening. There's my upper band, lower band, my VWAP. All I did was drew out my fibs, and then I knew where my resistance was. That's why I had published that today, because I could see that happening. Then after resistance, we have a falling wedge. The problem with it is it failed, right? So the test of the falling wedge is it comes out of the wedge, comes back. If it tests here, well, anyway, pretty much anywhere, and it fails, watch out, because it's going for a ride, and it did. And then they're back here. So I want to take a look and see where we're at. So they're at the upside of the band, right? So they might test this again intraday, but for now they're at the upside of the band. So what is that? That's a possible short, right? Now, I wouldn't expect much. If I get it, I would expect VWAP anyway, possibly. But it doesn't look like they're going to give up. It looks like they're going to keep going. So I was thinking before I got on video, maybe we'll get a few shorts in here. But considering this, they're probably not done. And look at prices up right at the top of the candle here. So it looks like the final blow off. Well, who knows? They could have continuation after, right? This is Teo. So maybe I'll short Teo. TAO. I mean, Solana is really weak. Thin, I guess it's a better word. Where is its band right now? So this is its upper band here. So let's look at it here. There's its upper band. This is its current structure, which is different than the one that I showed you earlier. And I got that from this. It's a story. You can't just kind of jump in the middle. But anyway, I won't get into all of that. So this is the algorithmic structure here. I'll show you intraday for SOL. So I'll show you the setup and maybe we'll take one. So you just box it out so you can see it better. And then you just run a couple trend lines so you can see better. And then another one this way. So that's a structure. It got to fairly key resistance here, backed off, came out of timing, and they're trying again at that same resistance. So their next resistance is the band, then here, then the previous resistance from earlier structure on what we would call outside risk, and then the top side of the structure. So I could just short the 11 daylights out of these levels and see if I get a pullback into VWAP at least, or the lower band, or even outside lower risk down here. But that's the structure. So then the question is, where do I start to do that? So then I'm going to take the structure, move it over 1, and you can think in terms of 369. I'll show you. So my midpoint is about there. This will help you see the 369. So this is one step. It's actually a half step, 2 half steps, 3 half steps horizontally. So this is my timing. intraday. So what am I doing? I'm watching that timing to see if the bulls get up into key resistance anywhere overhead. The more they get, the better. We have resistance right here that's super good, 149.55. I won't explain why, but that goes back to this calculation here. And you can see here when the bulls rallied, all of crypto was rallying. The bulls came off. We measured out the symmetry. I covered, and they came back up to key resistance. These are resistance levels on the right, and they failed, right? So anyway, they never did get to this one or these earlier today. So if they get to the ones they haven't been to yet, that would be most ideal. And they're already starting to fail at the outer band here. So what time is that at? That's at 1:21. Now, typically after oil closes, and you wonder what the heck does oil have to do with crypto? It just money flows. So, and especially on a Friday, it can be freaky. But so 2:30 is quote unquote pick close. Money flows will move primarily in machine learning. So if crypto's under pressure going into 2:30, there's a very good chance between 2:30 and 5 that it'll lift, for example. Or if they're rallying into 2:30, there's a very good chance that it'll come under pressure after 2:30. And then your 4:30 mark-ish is important too. And then in the evening, again, you start around 8. So what time is it right now? We're 1:04. So we don't have to wait long. This is, 15 minutes from now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to alarm this because I'm interested in shorting that. And then I can go do a few other things. So let's look at Ethereum because it has more flow today. And we know its outside risk is here. They did get there earlier, right here. This is where everybody was rallying and failed. So the next one up is more ideal here, but I just don't see that happening intraday. But who knows? That's at 27, 26. But I'll assess when they get here. And then in Bitcoin, I don't have a structure intraday, but we could figure it out really quick. I have one from before that's actually working. It's the same thing, right? Rallied. Now they're working. But I don't have any upside of that. So we could draw its structure really quick. Well, I could probably use this right here, right before they rallied. I'm just going to measure it really quick and see if we have something. So all you do is you take your fib retracement, do something like this, and you can tell pretty quick, and then you just draw it the other way. Now, once you got your measurements, then you can kind of look around and see if price has been reacting to it. So here's your first, here's your second, third, fourth, and then your fuchsia is up there. So what I want to do is I want to imagine that a blue straight across. Nothing fantastic. And what I'm looking for here is if price was reacting to it. Mind you, I didn't draw that perfect, but it doesn't really matter. That's decent. Yes. 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 It's probably going to work. So what I'm going to do, so this is an old level, and so levels have memory, right? You got to be careful with that. But I'm just going to make it not as prevalent and mark these real quick here. There's my blue. Oh yeah, see, we pinged there. That could be fluke though. So I just got to really quickly get these drawn because timing's coming. Get them marked. This is why, like somebody that knows how to do their models properly, you can throw them into a trade. You can literally hit the button for them on the first trade, whatever, long or short, as long as it's not too much of the account. And they can trade their way out. You know, it might take a couple weeks or a day or a couple hours. It just depends on the trade. But they will trade themselves right side up because they know the structure of trade. And it works on all time frames. Now this is sloppy. I don't really like it, but I'm gonna alert it. So if that hits while I'm distracted, I'll know. This I like a lot better because I know for sure this is correct because I had done it during trade action. Yeah, they're coming. So that's Ethereum. There's my Bitcoin. TAO, look at that. So they're coming hard. So this is actually a prime short setup or continuation bullish, right? So trading 349.65, it's got resistance at 359.29. That $10 can happen in a flash. So above there, I want to short. Now, this is a 4 hour. I'll bring it down. If I short specifically this instrument, I'll bring the timing down to at least a minute so I can see better, right? But I'm most interested in SOL because of that challenge I'm in. And the one thing a lot of crypto traders maybe don't, what's the right word? I mean, they know, they understand, but they don't really adhere to or recognize it, is the fact that if you're doing 5 or 10 or 20% a week, you're top of class. The problem is, I mean, worldly and historically, like you look up the best funds in the world, like look up Renaissance Technologies, their heritage fund. I don't know I can't remember if they call it the heritage fund, but the founders fund. Like I think annually, if I had to guess, it's like they're doing like 78% or something. It's one of the best in the world. You take out a compound calculator and figure out 5% a week, and you blow it out of the water. But the thing is, can you do it every week, right? That's the challenge. Anyway, our challenge is $1,000 to $1 million in 10 weeks, and I'm moving at a snail's pace, like 5 to 20% a week. I can't tell you exactly where I am. It changes intraday. We're finishing the second week on Sunday, I think. So I need some double ups. So I'm hoping that, and I'm only trading Solana for that challenge. It's a personal challenge. Yeah. So anyway, timing's coming. So Solana is limpy on the way into key resistance for TAO, and Bitcoin is, well, it's come off a bit, but it's much more pointy, and Ethereum's come off a bit, much more pointy, much more active, right? Solana, the problem is the humans, and we just know because we know order flow, how it works. And of course, I'm communicating with our developers all day about it. Humans have basically left the building. This is all basically machine. And when the machines don't have humans, they don't have victims, right? And if they don't have the victims, then price is ugly. It's kind of hard to explain how that works, but that's the way it works. So here's another Solana model on 15 second. simple geometry, cleaner. So this line right here is quite shortable. That's my point. This is a whole other what this really is it's the three leading machine entities, white, yellow, and purple, competing. So it's an ugly chart because there's three charts on top. I mean, all of these are pretty messy. They're algorithmic, so they get messy. So we're waiting for that timing. So, oh, there we go. They're coming now. So that's at 1:21:15. So we're about 7 minutes away. So what I'll do is I'll get off the mic and come back before that 7-minute mark and possibly start to short this thing. Now, what you need to know is if I short intraday and freestyle shorting or whatever, I'll typically use hard stops, but they're not mechanical. I'll do them myself manually. And how much room I give my stops depends on the price action. So I can't even tell you. It's one of those things that I like to reserve for when it's happening. It's hard to explain, but different instruments of trade are different, right? Like this is crude oil, and I'll use different ranges with crude oil. It depends on the time frame, depends on the order flow of the day, all kinds of stuff. But specifically in Solana intraday, if it remains as thin as it is, they'll be really tight. Anyway, I'll give it a few minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, so I might start banging at this bull parade here that the Solana traders are on. Check, check. Yeah, why not? What was our timing? Our timing was 1:21:15, so we're almost there. I like that one drawing. Where did that go? This one. Right. What did I say? 121. Eh? That should be it right there. Now, keep in mind, ideally, you want to wait for that 4 hour to expire. I just don't think the Bulls have it in them. But, you know. So I'll bang on it and see how we do here. Now, I got to load up. Where am I? So I'm going to load up on another monitor here. Amount. So I got a small account I'm working with. At 6 times leverage, I got about 50 bullets. I'm a little bit short right now just on positioning. Yeah, maybe I'll, I don't know, call it 28. Well, let's go with 36. See if it lets me. It might not. I'm not sure exactly how many bullets I get here. I'm 9 short right now. Just that's totally different. That's positioning trade. I mean, I could close that out. Why don't I do that? Well, yeah. Let's do that. I'm going to close first, and I won't get confused. Okay, so 36 loaded in the accounts. How are we doing here? We're at timing, eh? And then my measurements. So yeah, so I'm 30. Am I 36 short? Maybe it won't let me. Come on. We'll go 28. Wow, I missed my execution because the platform. I think I missed it. I have so many accounts, and a lot of them are new. And to be honest, these crypto exchanges are a lot different than the big exchanges we use. Damn. Well, let's see how that 20 MA test goes. So they're coming back for the 20 MA there. Come on, tap the 20 MA. Aye, aye, aye. So the 50 MA is coming next. I can't believe I missed my execution. What would make that even funnier is if I actually hit it and I just can't see it, but I'm sure it's not there. Cancel. Yeah, it's not there. Damn. Well, what time is it? 1:25, 1:23. So I gotta take the other side now. That's comical. So here's the 200. Here's VWAP. Here's my upper band. So I want bounce now. So I'm going to look for a 200 MA bounce and then a retest of the high. Incredible. I guess I should let the tribe know that I'm, and I closed out of that small short positioning right at that high. How do I explain that? Active trades. So for now, I'm out on that positioning short to do some freestyle here. Will advise. I can't believe. That's okay. I'll make it up real fast here. So this is Coinbase, Solana, US dollar. Solana, US dollar, Binance. Aha. That's why it looks so thin. Anyway, I'm going to take the long on this 200 MA bounce, probably. So I'm going to... No, I like the short better, right? So... So I'm going to load for 18 long. I can't remember. Oh. So I'm loading smaller long because I don't like the long as much as I like the short right now intraday. So I'll go 18 long and then we'll see how I do. And if I get the jump, then I'll start to short the jump, the rally side of it. Look at that timing. It worked beautifully. And that came from, oh yeah, that came from this. Right. So I have a really good execution place here at 144.28. If that 200 fails, and then the lower band. So I just want to mark that 144.29. What is that white line? Well, these were some intraday channels from yesterday, I think. Anyway, 144.29 is right in here. Now the crossover of my 200 is important also. I can't believe I missed my execution. Horizontal. 144.29 area. So I'm just gonna Do that. So anyway, when you get an intraday small rally like this into resistance, it comes off. Continuation is possibly at the 200, like here, right? So one, uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Test support and go. So that's what you're looking for here. But because it's further along, if it works, it'll be much more expanded. But anyway, that's the general idea. You see how it came just under here and then they bought? So there would have been some order flow in there. Just in simple volume. Well, a little bit, but not much. So the other way to do this is to divide it up, right, into pieces, like call it like 5 executions. But I'm not really interested in that long. Short, sure. So what would have I got here? 146 to what? Well, 70 cents or so. Not a lot. But it's 6 times, fairly, sizable relative to the account. It builds fast. As long as you're trading counterparty, like if you're on an exchange where there's no counterparty, then that's more difficult. Okay, here we go. So I'm watching price action and volume. I don't have order flow right now. That's decent. So 376. Didn't tap underneath, which sucks. That slippage, if you want to call it slippage, the slippage is typically the best place to execute because that's where stops are getting hammered. And you get the best order flow. So market orders, mind you, these are small market orders. I just didn't really dig it, so I'm going to wait here for a minute. Now my next timing is right here. That's at 151. And because that hit so perfectly, I want to pay attention. So my 3 half step was beautiful. So then my 3 full step becomes super important, which becomes 6 half steps, right? But anyway, 3 full steps and then 4.5 full steps are important. So that brings me to 248. So that's after oil close. So oil close is somewhere in here. Yeah. So I want to watch that. I was hoping they would rally into oil close. So they still might. But obviously the bulls are having problems with this resistance. Now this resistance, I'm not going to get into explicit details, but that's a Gann wave from yesterday's structure. So that's a little bit of traditional classical charting. There's one up here too. That's the ideal. Is that the best short? No, the best one's up here. Anyway, that hit today. Just shy. Yeah. So they're still working on this 200 here. Let's see how they do. So my upside band, outer band is here. See if volume came in right now, that would be ideal right there. If it had spiked down, took out the stops, volume comes in, and you go. So this is pretty sloppy. Now what makes it difficult is if they get back up above that 200 and go, that's a sloppy trade. So next is my VWAP. Now I always want to measure, see if they go now, that would really suck. Anyway, I want to measure my extensions. So my 200 MA extension. So what you do is you go 3 down, draw a box, and the half is support on the angle. So I'll show you. So you go like that, like this, like this, like that, like this, and that's my decision right here. See VWAP? It's the matrix of trade. Once you get it, you'll be like, that's cool stuff. Let's see. It doesn't make you a good trader, it just helps you with risk. It doesn't do it for you. It helps you assess risk. So this is a fairly key support. This one's better. But anyway, this will get us some cool levels here. I'll show you. As soon as I stop making that one mistake, I need my opposite fib. Why is this so hard right now? Oh, I got it in there. Okay. So I'll show you something. So I've drawn those fibs in, right? Now my outside risk is this blue right here. So there's my prime short. Now there's more above, but that's where I definitely start banging. It doesn't matter, really doesn't matter how price action is for the most part at that point. And then my maximum risk to the downside is here, the blue down there. So don't let it frustrate you, all these lines, because it's just a whole bunch of lines that tell you algorithmically where your risk is throughout the day. And then, you just delete them as you go the next day or whatever. But it can get pretty sloppy looking. Frustrating. Really fast because you're, this is how you make decisions all day long. What the frick is this? Okay, that's not supposed to be there. There. That's your structure. You see how VWAP's coming right through the center? That's not coincidence. So right now what they've done is they've bounced off this support because it is a fairly key support. It's not ideal for the bulls, but they took it. And now they're coiling the 200. You see all the MAs here, 20, 50, 100, and 200. They're all compressing, pinching with price. So basically now the bulls of machine bulls got themselves into a coil around the 200. It would have been better for them because they didn't have the support, the order flow support here. More probable upside, not that they're not going to get it, but more probable had they left it to here. So if I was short, if I had actually executed properly, I would have surrendered about 60 to 70% right here at the 20. I'll typically surrender just over half, right? Unload that pack. Now I got a little bit of wiggle room in terms of margin or profit. So if I start firing big around key pivots later in the day, now it's late in the day now. This is something you want to do in pre-market typically, right? Which I'm going to start doing for you guys. But and that's where it's really active, right? That's where you get the good order flows. But the only way in that challenge I'm going to get from 1,000 to 1,000,000 in 10 weeks is to do this. So I figure I may as well share while I'm doing it. But anyway, I would have taken about 60, 70% off there. And then I'd wait for another trigger point, right? But what that does for me is it gives me a buffer for the paper cuts around the hard stops. So here they go. They're going to possibly try and get to that resistance I've just shown you overhead. And there's others in here from previous day trade, the memory. So I might bang at all of them here. I'll just see how they do as they go. But I'll probably try a double top here short. Just getting myself some levels ready here so that if I do short it. So let's say I do a double top short and it comes into this. You see this TL here? That's a really key support. Typically when you short, they'll use that. And then slowly fire down in a falling wedge and then gone again. Which is, by the way, pretty much the best setup you can have. So after the short, and it comes back to that TL, and then they build a falling wedge in here. Intraday, that's one of the best. For those that don't know what a falling wedge looks like, that's right here. That's a falling wedge. And you can see what happened on the other side of it. That's tail. So they've got 2 hours and 18 minutes left on that candle. So that's at 4 o'clock. So then 8 o'clock is the finish. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so now I got to readjust. Well, I'll just leave the 18 on there. Let's see how they handle the double top. So they banged into it, right? Not usually a good place to short when price is banging into it. Like you want it to do what it did here, where it was sloppy. This is, I mean, it can work, but so that wasn't an easy long to take. The short was excellent setup. The long, not so much. But anyway, so I'm short. And it was just intraday freestyle trading, about 70. And I'm out, right? Or flipped long. It's another way to do it. But you want to be careful with flipping too much because you'll chew yourself up. Now they got super good volume in here, and I can guarantee you the order flow is decent for the bulls without even having my developer in my ear. Developers. So I'm just going to let them go here, right? So I know where my key resistance is overhead. I can now bring my timing into what's called compression timing. So I can examine this timing here when we get there, which will very probably be a near-term top. That comes in at about 146.45. And I would prefer they get to the outside risk, which is, where did I determine that is? Oh yeah, right there. Okay. So outside risk is this line here, 147.40. $20 MA is coming to meet price at key resistance, which is the test for continuation or not. So the bulls can do all they want up here, like they can go as high as they want, but ideally they want to come back and tap that 20 MA at key support and resistance. So if they get high enough, that's a decent fit. But you need some range in there to make it worthwhile. So you want them up at as high as possible, like here, hit it, and then typically, not always, but on balance, they have to come back and test here for continuation or not. So this might be a decent short, actually. So the bull's got a lot of horsepower here. You want to be really careful. You can see how they skin the top here. They've actually skinned it and come back and tested. It was just early. They did it before that 20 MA got there. So now, typically, they have to go back and test. And here it comes. They have so much horsepower on that, I would expect them to go. So I want them to go, and then as soon as they give me indication they're tiring out, I'll hit the short. So let's assume I've got 40 bullets. They got some power behind their little move here. So I'm going to divide it into, let's call it 4. So 10 each. So I can whack it a few times. So I'm just loading for 10 right now because they got some fire. Now, from earlier today, we have the levels that I want to watch. The next one to be tested. Wow, this one never did hit properly, so I might hit it there. But this one is super juicy. So 147.51. So this is their timing, right? Now, the other thing too, so algorithmically, when we're talking percentage up or down on the day, oh, wait a sec here. Yahoo! Come on. Anyway, you see the percentage there? There again, Facebook line is important. Now that's your 8 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. That's not 24-hour like you'll see on a lot of different sites. It's 24-hour, but it's 8 to 8. So Solana is up 2.5 on that timing. Bitcoin up 4, Ethereum up 4, Teo's up 10. So Teo is getting into that key resistance right now. It's close, very close. This is really cool. Well, it's not quite as dead as I thought it would be. The width of the VWAP bands, I'm not sure. It's just whatever is standard in TradingView. I've never checked. Where would we find that? Once we're done here, I'll look that up. And then as far as Elliott waves, so Elliott is one man that, designed the system of trade. There's a whole bunch of them, right? And they're all valid in their own way, right? You just have to learn how to, it's like different vehicles. You just have to learn how to drive the vehicle. We use primarily Fibonacci, and that's what you're seeing is Fibonacci, but used properly. Like the basic Fibonacci you see in the markets, it's pretty, well, it's amateur level. It's just, you can have different drivers in the same vehicle, and it's, anyway, yeah. It takes a while to learn. Like, it's not like I can teach somebody in 20 minutes. But in those 2 days in that boot camp, we should get them, well, we will. I mean, in 12 to 16 hours of teaching, we'll get there. Okay, so this is, if I remember right, yes. So there's your first. And I want the second or third. So I'm short 10 there. And let's see how far they get. So remember, I got 40 bullets, right? There's my grid. I got a couple of them going here, but this will work for now. It's never about being totally exact either, right? But I'll implement many of the classical TAs, right? So whether it's Elliott or anybody that's doing any kind of extension work or symmetry work, I really like. I just got to get this marked properly. There they go. Hopefully I don't blow up this account. Yeah, let's freestyle for a while. 10, right? Yeah. Let's just freestyle this baby. Now these marks, $148.49, $148.77. Yeah, so these are different. This is valid though. Okay, so that red above. So what I'm going to do is just thicken these right up. I got marks from other timing, right? In here, so I don't want to confuse myself any more than I already am. So that one is really important. No, red. We know that for sure. Yeah. And then above that, the next one that's really important is the blue and the purple. I guess I better check my liquidation too, eh? Now, I didn't hard stop it intentionally. I broke it up, right? Because the bulls were on a fairly serious parade there. So I thought I'd give them a little rope. So I'm going to bring these thinner. So I know the thick ones are my real levels, right? And then I got a fuchsia up top here. And then I got to check that fuchsia with my liquidation. See, I'm not used to these liquidation levels, eh? Like we're trading, you know, we have private funds. So a few websites, compoundtrading.com. So compoundtrading.com, aliensuite.net, and epiccryptoapes.com. And then another one you could check is sovereign.com with all O's, SOVORON.com. But if you go to aliensuite.net, you'll see like we're into privacy by default. We've got 5 tokenizations deployed. And, you know, we're private. Anyway, so Kurt, let's do this for the tribe. Sorry about the noise on the chart. The thick lines are the measured intra. So while I'm waiting for the bulls to take a pill, I'm going, oh, first of all, my liquidation, 170.71. Okay, so I got lots of room. We're good there. Unless there's a God candle, then I'm finished, eh? So I'm just going to make this look thinner. I'm not deleting them because I don't know what I have to go back, like when the day is done, I go back and I look at all the mess, right? And figure out what am I going to keep for next day. So it looks like they're going to get to my next. Super cool. Okay, so this one I might hard pivot. Now I need to know where my timing is. So it's 1:58 right now. Vertical. There it is. Geez, they might get right up into that purple by then. I mean, their trajectory says, well, maybe a blow off at the red. I mean, I could try the hard pivots there, but it's sure looking like, who knows, right? Nobody knows. That's the beautiful part. All I can do is assess risk. Now to make it even more complicated, I'm going to start stacking my boxes. Why all the lines? I get those comments all the time. So many lines. Yeah, sorry. I don't know. But that trajectory looks like, it crosses right in here somewhere, right? So to me, it looks like straight up. Damn, that'd be fun into the future. Woo-hoo. Like they'd probably arc right up and take out a whole ton of shorts. So what I'll do is I'll try and bang it with hard stops. What's my... Yeah, my liquidation is, may as well call it 170. So I either got to add into it or cut bait before then. But this is looking like they're going to get that fuchsia. They might even get more. I mean, they got this on the go. So, which by the way, I want to short the daylights out of that. But it's not done till 8, right? Is that what I figured out? Yeah. But even if it's not done till 8, I should get some range, especially in this fuchsia area. So if they blow up into the fuchsia, I guess I better mark my blow up on my account. Where is that? It's not going to happen today, is it? It's way up there. Well, I guess I better just get kind of emotional, forget things. There, I'll wonder. Ponder life. Ponder existence. Okay. So they're not even close to done. They came back to this. This is a resistance. It's just, that's from yesterday. That's what is that? They call it a GAN fan. I think that's part of the GAN fan from yesterday. Anyway, obviously they're not. It's the 20 MA I'm mostly interested in. So they're just tracking the 20 MA right now. Super, super bullish, like insanely bullish. Yeah. Nothing like getting in front of a train. So And there they used a fib level from, not a fib level, well, an outside risk level of a fib structure from earlier today or yesterday, that blue. Okay, so now what you want to do is start thinking in terms of impulse waves. Now, this is probably counted wrong. I'll show you. What it probably is more like this. I'll show you. For a decision. So they are slowing down. Doesn't look like it, but they are right here. So I think that's my count. Pretty sure. Yeah. So I'm going to look at just simple symmetry in terms of their waves. So this is the next resistance, okay? 149.55. The approximate timing on that, first, it's just simple symmetry. This is freestyle, so I can't explain it. I mean, I could after. It just isn't time. So what I want to know is, do they get, why can't I get a halftime set there? Wow. Anyway, what I want to know is, do they get here? It's a little too big. In that timing. Once I know that, I'll know how alive the bulls are here. Generally. Just assessing risk in general terms here. Now, Teo, did they get there? Incredible, eh? Like, we've had this structure for many, many weeks. Not, well, I don't even know how many weeks. Many. But it's bigger, right? It's 4 hour. Did you see that? Huge, huge volume. So they're back for the test, right? Into timing. Machines are having a bit of a battle. Probably some humans in there. So they didn't get to the top. They got to the test of support. So if they happen to come off here, and I don't think they are, then there's your 200. Now I just have to check in crude oil here quick. I got one fly that just needs to die. I'll go deal with him in a minute. Holy. Now, if you were crapping your pants there and you're like, come on, man, I'm way in over my head, that would be the time to throw some weight off. And I mean, considering I only got 40 to 50 bullets, you know, like all of our software, our machine learning software is based on 900 bullets. So it's pinging all the time. Bing, 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 bing. Or not, I guess. But anyway, it's got 900 bullets. So the idea of having 40 to 50 and using 10 at a time is really foreign to me. But that's okay. I'll do it. So then we want to see. So you can see your 369, right? So you got 3 over 3 up. If you had a box here, you could draw your diagonal right here, right? And this is just total freehand, but you can see how price is using it. And then you can box it out. Where did my box go? I didn't do that right. There we go. TradingView's got some updates that suck. And our developers know them. It's like they got a bad batch of frickin' mushrooms or something. Anyway. So that it's expired. So then what I want to do is I want to see how they do in the next test, which is 3 half steps over again. So you just end up in this perpetual 369. People that do GAN work and that, various spiral, Fibonacci work and stuff, they love working with me. I've worked with many over the years because they're like, you do it, you come about it in a different way, but it works. I've had a lot of opportunity. Like we worked with BlackRock for a while. Yeah, the Empire. When we were first developing, you have 1,000 data scientists, computer scientists, and that was super, super fun. So anyway, there was timing from down below here. But that timing I'm really most concerned about right now is right here. So that's at 220. Well, there you go into oil close. I'm hoping it comes off into that. I can just get out of my short. Like I hope it just rolls over here at this point, because it's getting so close to that timing that it's not an ideal time to sit in anything. It's better to be out before and then reassess after than to be headlong into it. But so we have the levels from the structure before earlier that I would definitely fire on. The red I'm not sure about. It's the blue and up. And then we could do the levels for this tighter intraday structure. This structure is a support test, right? Previous resistance, now support, which is actually the blue. It's not this. I mean, that's there, but it's not as prevalent intraday as the blue. 200 MA coming up to your blue. So as it comes up to these two levels, which would be your support, previous resistance, you want to watch and see if price returns to it. So ideally what you want, and again, the 230 is kind of messing it up. But anyway, ideally you want it to ping up here, get loaded up, hard stops, and expect price to crack into that 200 MA for a test. And then you can just clear your whole trade. Even if you're not up on this first entry, if you're sized up here and you get it back down in here, that's a decent trade actually. What a lot of traders will do is they'll step up to the plate and they'll treat it as not just an at bat, but a one swinger, right? Like I'm going to swing and I'm going to hit or I'm going to miss. And that's really dangerous. Even with 4, like I've done here, call it 40 to 50 bullets, 10, I've only got 2 or 3 swings. It's much different than 900. Now we did at BloFin, Redmond got them, I think is what happened. I know for sure we can trade percentages, right? So we can bring those, we call them dot plots. So it helps with a small account to be able to close percentages instead of one full SOL. I don't think I've tried to do it yet, but while we're waiting here, maybe I'll look at the platform. So where it says amount, I wonder if I just put a percentage in there. Oh yeah, there is percentages there. They come up. So they coded it. The coders need a little help on the presentation. But anyway, that's super cool. So I might even take advantage of that in this trade if what I think is going to happen happens. So what I think is going to happen is we're going to test up here and then we're going to crack into here somewhere. Now, preferably, I want that test before the timing. I want it to crack into timing. That's the most ideal. So like this would be ideal. Now, it may have got the short so offside and be so bullish intraday that it just doesn't crack down. But mind you, there was some here. I mean, that's enough, right? Like if you're at key resistance and you hammer key resistance and you get that much, you can at least get enough weight off or make a decision to get out or whatever. But even just getting weight off if you're in trouble helps a lot. This is the S&P. So this is an example of the blue. They've pinged it twice. They've double topped. Now this is the structure from earlier today, I believe. So they'd be coming into fuchsia. So I am curious, even though this is the dominant one right now. I'm most interested. But I am curious. So what is that at? 149.55. 149.55. Yeah, that's 149.55. So I might hit this. Let's see. So I'm loading 16 here. Let's see how they do. So that's 2100 to the sell side, 2200 in volume. I didn't execute. One point eight, 2.2, 2.5, 2.6, about 3,000 to the buy side. Big battle. So they're buying into it right now. So, well, we'll see. Five-minute candles expired. They got to go here. So there's a pivot candle right here, hey? It's 149.20. So if they lose 149.20, they test that to the upside after they lose it and dump, then they're in trouble. I still got lots of time though on the 5-minute. I got 3.5 minutes. Lots of time. Now they're getting close to 4.5% on the day. TAO's at 10.5. So TAO might finish just shy of 12%. So I don't think there's much left on the day. So here comes that support, that pivot candle. There it goes. See how they jump? Jumped under it. What time is it? So that's halfway through the 5-minute. So you want to know how they handle that pivot to the up. There's the test to the upside. So pinch, 50 MA, 20 MA, pivot. There's your 20 MA. So you got about a minute and a half left on the 5. MA test. Just under a minute on the 5. They want to be up over that red. $30 seconds. $20. I got a light of smoke for this. I can't believe I've gotten stressed on a $1,000 account. Like when we fire bullets for what we do, it's like millions, literally millions. Okay, here we go. Like I'm talking per click. I'm just stressed right out on a $1,000 account. Okay, here we go. We're timed out. Okay, I sold 16. Now what I got to do is I got to get that ready, right? To buy it back. Holy shit. I'm supposed to alert that. That's why it's good to be live in a room. I'll do a lot more next week. Even some on the weekend, I think I'll do. We're coming down to the 100 here. So I covered 5 at the 100. Man, I got to get used to these exchanges. I don't even know what I'm looking at. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I did. I covered 5 there. Don't you dare get away on me now. So 16 of 5 is 11, right? So yeah, I got to get used to these platforms. So 11, let's call it 9 if it gets away on me. Where do I? Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm learning live here. Yeah, these platforms. I shouldn't be trading 3 or 4 platforms at once. Oh, nice. That timing, eh? So I just covered 9. So what's that, 14? Okay, so that worked so far, that part. So what do I hold? Minus 12, eh? Let's hope that's the same on 4 platforms. That's the last time I'm going to freestyle on 4 platforms at once that I've never, well, hardly ever used. That's stupid. So now the 2, I'm not worried about the 2. Like if it gets away on me upside, great. In fact, I want them to now. Because I got weight off. I got a little bit of profit for banging around. So I got, which is the goal. I still got these 10 down here. So I'm offside like by a few bucks. Like literally $3. Not even. I might even be green. That I got to figure out too on these platforms. Okay, so you're coming into the 200 MA, right? How many steps am I in here? So that's 3 house steps. So they'll probably rally a bit here. Oh, they're at, this is oil settlement. Yeah, so now they're into decision time. So between 2:30 and 5-ish, it'll either be a melt up. Well, I mean, I hate to be retarded about what I say, but it'll either be a melt up or down or flat. But it typically won't be like a lot of range in that decision. I'm struggling to find the right words, but if you're melting up, it'll probably melt up until 5 or 6 o'clock. If you're not, it'll probably keep declining until 5 or 6 o'clock, and then if it's sideways, probably stay there until 5 or 6 o'clock. Probably, in general terms, algorithmically. So there's not a lot you can do with it if you're on the wrong side of it. So you just make a decision at that point soon here, 5 minutes. Do I just cut bait and go to the ocean for some exercise, or do I just let it go while I'm at the ocean? And if I am, do I put some orders in? It's what I don't like about these exchanges is the liquidation, because I mean, if there's news or something, right? But like limit orders, we don't like limit orders. We like all market orders for everything, because there's a lot happening that limit orders can't see, right? That's why, like, the only time I'll use like hard stops, like mechanical stops, is if I'm trading like big money and I'm freestyling. I'll set them because it's like I can't lose that. That would be a very bad day. So I just covered 1 here. Just out of discipline, that's the 200 MA. So cover one. Did I do something wrong with my math? No, oh, I did. I got it right. The dyslexia makes it really hard. I have to triple check. Double doesn't work. So anyway, that's the grind. I never did get what I wanted there with that red arrow, so I'll take that out. The dominant structure, well, here's how I'll probably be able to tell for sure. I just want to see. Yeah. You see this here? So it tested there. I just ran my fib and my structure just to check. Sure enough. Now I want to go over 3. I just wanted to check it before I publish this into the free trial there for epiccryptoapes.com. So you see that? This is your dominant structure. So then what you do is you just run your fib the other way. And I mean, a lot of traders, guys like I've trained gazillionaires that come to me and they're like, I got a chain of restaurants and I lose millions. And I get it, right? Because I used to be literally a professional baccarat player, no limit. Like, I'm not talking high limit, I'm talking no limit. My wife was on the poker tour. And so I get it. You know, when people are blowing their brains out, trust me. Okay, so what I want to do is, like, this is just a distraction. So I want to make this smaller. Like a no limit baccarat, like it's a Chinese game, right? Like those are the boys that are financing the poker tour, the players, like horses. And you know, like one hand can take 3 hours because it's a social event and like its lives are on the line. You can't imagine. So like the degens, the apes in crypto, I mean, it would be similar, but like, you know, millions can be on the table. Many. Well, it's the same way in crypto, I guess. It's just not on the table in front of you. That's your structure. So you want to have an idea of the next timing. So what you do is you go like this, and this, and this, and this, and then this. So this is why a lot of people are in our sub platforms or use our auto traders and stuff, because it's actual work, right? Like machines are controlling your flow, your price action. So at least learning how they're doing that can really help, to say the least. Now, our software hasn't started to fire yet, but I know from Jeremy, before he left, he had to go to a meeting for our platform, developers meeting, but they were in the high 90% to fire. So the software on all of our cryptos will probably start firing tonight. Again, they've been dormant for a few days. It's better because, you know, markets go through cycles of crap too, right? Anyway, just wonder if I should clean this up a little bit more before I send it out. It's a little bit abstract, isn't it? But whatever. Let's just, well, do we know the level up? Did I measure it? It's here, right? Let me just confirm. One second here. Ay. Come on, Kurt. Why am I having such a hard time? It's right here. So on this structure, that's your blue right there. You see it? It's fluid. It changes all day. Like you really got to work. And so a lot of traders are like, that's too much like work. Well, do you want to trade with the best? You got to put in the work. You want to be a gambler? Gamble. I get it. Trust me, I get it. I was a baccarat player. That's why I mentioned that. Baccarat's all gamble, but you still manage risk. Baccarat's a game where you gang up on the casino and literally try and bankrupt public companies. So when there's too much money on the table, the pit boss has to call upstairs. And when upstairs can't make the decision because there's so much going on, then they have to call the underwriter at like 3:30 in the morning and be like, we're in deep shit. Pardon my language. If you've never been to Macau and played baccarat, put it on your bucket list. It's a trip. Well, you can, like even in Canada, they got tables. You just want to get the right table. You don't want to get, you want to get the Dragon Panda table. So 40 times on your Dragon, 8 on your Panda. And you don't want complicated, like beyond that. So the Hard Rock in Punta Cana, I was there recently, and like they come up with all kinds of variations to complicate it because the edge and the house is very minute, right? In comparison to other games in a casino. And when the guys that, have heavy bankrolls come in, they can bankrupt you. Now it'd be very hard to bankrupt the Hard Rock, but they can do it. But I don't even know if it was truly no limit there. I didn't get that far because they had a bastardized version. Okay, so there we go. So I'm a little offside. So here we go with that liquidation, right? 171. So I'm thinking of going to the ocean, get some exercise. So what I did was I got my levels in at least, right? So now what I need to do for the tribe, this one here, I'm going to thin up. And I mean, it's frustrating because look at all those lines now, right? But at least they're there. So if there's guys in the tribe that are girls, look at that blue, hey? So blue, this is supposed to be red. So blue, red, blue, purple, fuchsia. Oh, what a trippy day. Why? It's because of what was happening in the world. Overhead, thick lines are now intra resistance. So that was blue, red, blue, purple, fuchsia. Is that how that works? Blue, red, blue, purple, fuchsia. Blue, red, blue, purple, fuchsia. And what I'll do is I'll just expand this for them quick. Leave the blue on there. You bring that over. Now, a trick here is if it takes up more than your full screen, horizontally for your 3 steps, then you know it's a bad model. It's going to break down. Oh, look at that. So they're banging up against the diagonal fib there. So there is some resistance coming in intraday. Interesting. I didn't expect that yet. So this is your first 3 here, horizontal. So this is 9, right? So 3 9s. It fits on a page quite easily. So this is definitely in play. So then what you do is you take your 369. There's a lot more to this, and it makes more sense once you understand it. But anyway, and you move it over another step, and then you go half time, and that's where your next timing is. And inside there, you can break it down a lot more than that. It's raining out my window. So what I want to know right now is my timing. Vertical. Vertical. And now, just because I'm in play here, so, and I might not end up going to get some exercise because it's raining. We'll see. So I'll just draw these in quick. So these are key support and resistance areas. Now, my fibs in there aren't so important, right? I can see them. So there's one here, 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 here. It's like driving a car. You learn how, anyway. Think of it like a GPS, I guess. But what I do want to know is I do want to know my timing. So I go here, and I go here, and here, and here. And there's my timing. So that comes in at 307, 321. And 335 and 349. So into 322, if the bulls are rallying, then I go to my blue. This is one of the best setups now that you have structure intraday, and it's proven itself out. This is one of the best setups in the markets right there. Now what that is, I'm talking just intraday, it becomes less good probability wise if the timing expires, or at least intraday expires, your day session. It's still there, but it's just not as good. And then you're red, and then up to your fuchsia. If you ever get a structure and you get up to that fuchsia, that's gold. So, and this is why I'm always wanting trades to go against me at first. It's a grind, but when you get into a pocket, you can make a lot of money very fast. And people go, how did he do that? And then they hate you for it. So there's a target right there. I mean, I rub it in too, intentionally, because, and oh yeah, going back to the rich folk that I've taught, they're tough people. So they need, they need somebody that's gonna talk dirty to them. That'll get serious in their face, There it is. That's your setup. So the video is getting a little long. So for downloading and uploading, I'm going to stop it soon. Let's just publish this quick. And then I'll put it in the free trial there. So if you're not in that free trial, just go to epiccryptoapes.com, get into that free trial, and then you can dig through this stuff. And if you want to learn it, then get into BootCamp. I think it's in 2 weeks, maybe 3. But it will, well, maybe it won't sell out, but I think it'll sell out. And we won't expand it beyond 300 people because we can't handle all the questions. So there's that. I'll take a screenshot. So what I'm going to do is I'll get out of the live. And then if this juices up so that that trigger, any trigger, big trigger comes in, then I'll go back into the live room. You can use the same link, same password for now through the evening and possibly even until tomorrow, depending on when this trade ends, right? Because it could go on overnight. And it'll really help me when the software starts firing because, of course, when the software's firing, that tells me a lot. Now that we're 8 years into machine learning, coding, I'm not as confident without the software firing because it's got tech that I can't access. It's got order flow tech, it's just not possible for a human to do. So anyway, I think that gives you enough. So I put, the links in that Crypto Apes free trial or free view. So the goal is to whack this. Now, if I got this perfectly in timing today and at price, I would be all in. Now, if it went against me, though, I'd have to cut real fast, right? I do have a little bit of profit here to work with. Not much, but enough so that I can risk that at a hard pivot. So the whole goal is to ping whatever your start is. Typically, you won't want to use a quarter of your account or a fifth. But you ping your start point. If it goes against you, you take your next ping, which was timing, right? And I verbalized the things I was watching for in that 5-minute timing, that resistance there, into timing. I mean, there's much more, but that's, a good start. So you take your first ping, you bang at whatever your setup is, get some profit into your bank so that when you get serious at resistance, you've got some play, some money play. Now, this is a loss so far, so I really don't yet, but I do algorithmically have some winning here. Like, we actually treat that separate of that because eventually, if I do that enough times, this is going to get dealt with anyway. And we call that flattening the curve. And then there's the big boom. So it's always about flattening the curve and the big boom. So it's like, here's crude oil, right? Well, even the big dump in crypto recently, right? So if you go to aliensuite.net, you look at the 5 projects, look at, say, Solana, look at the token price, and look at where the dump was. I mean, the software was just banging down there. Now, it couldn't get a lot of fills, but it did a lot better than, say, just the price of Solana. So what's my point in that? Oh, the outside edge opportunities. So if you're going to algorithmically trade, that's kind of how the board game works. Now, if you say, well, I don't want to do the work, blah, 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 blah. Of course, there's our auto traders and that kind of thing. But beyond that, you can take the knowledge and you can plug it into whatever you're doing. So if you're trading news events or just your vibe or it felt good or GAN or whatever you're trading, if you know your algorithmic structure, then at least you know where you are in the arena and you don't have a blindfold on, right? And then you can manage risk into whatever else you're doing, if that makes any sense. Anyway, peace and love. It's 2:52 and we have the timing at 3:21. So I'll be around to watch that at least. And I'll put a note into the epiccryptoapes.com free view server to tell you what I'm seeing at that point. Talk to you later. Thanks for coming out.